Hello snowboarders of the internet, I am your host TC, and today I will be reviewing the Rossignol Jibsaw. This board is equipped with Rossignol's AmpTech Elite camber system. So what that is it's pretty much a cam rocker board. So you have camber in between your feet with rocker on the nose and tail. So what that's gonna do is it's gonna allow you to press and butter on those nose and tails, but still give you the edge hold and pop you're looking for right underfoot. This board comes in a 150, a 153, a 155, a 157, and a 159. It was a warm sunny day where it was pretty firm in the morning with pretty much immaculate groomers that, I mean, it was pretty quick, but once those went away, it was just firm, icier snow. Towards the end of the day, it started to soften up. I wouldn't say it got like super soft or slushy, anything like that, but you could still trust your edge and lay it in. I used my Ride Fuse boots and Jones Mercury bindings. When we're talking overall flex on this board, it is in the middle of the road where the nose and the tail are on the softer end, but right in the middle of the board, right underfoot there, it's gonna be in the middle of the road. Torsionally, feels slightly a little bit softer, so there isn't gonna be any resistance. Now, when we translate that into stability, it definitely has that more of a lively feeling than damp, where I felt a lot of the conditions underneath my feet that actually weren't all bad, I would say, where I did have really good board feel on the rail. So that definitely was a plus for the stability side of it, where it's nice to feel the rail instead of just feeling like you have no idea what you're landing on. But anyways, when we talk more about that stability on the snow, it does get bounced around a little bit. It kind of wants to snap around, I would say, but overall, it's still a pretty comfortable ride. This board is actually pretty easy to load up, but that being said, it doesn't return quite as much energy as I was expecting for it being a camber dominant board. The tail didn't feel like loose or anything when I was taking off or landing on jumps. It just felt like it lacked a little bit of snap and a little bit extra oomph to be desired, I would say. Now, when I took it off jumps, I was able to pretty much attack the lip and pop off of them, but I wouldn't say if you're gonna spin, to really have that spin dialed in, because if you over rotate, it's not really going to stop that rotation on the landing if you're like me, so just keep that in mind. But overall, it is pretty decent on jumps, I would say. I definitely recommend keeping it to that medium line and smaller. I wouldn't go attacking that large line on it. It just might feel a little bit loose. Since you're here, you might as well like, subscribe, click that bell, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our scheduled programming we have coming out. This board really excels when you're buttering it or jibbing it, I would say, because of how soft the tail and the nose are. It's really easy to find that sweet spot and hold it. So when you do pop into that tail, it literally just wants to hold right outside of that binding. Same with the nose. And when you're going to exit your butters, I would say just keep in mind it's not gonna really spring you out or pop you out as much. So you're gonna have to work a little bit more if you're trying to get that spin around. And that pretty much directly translates into the jibbing, where when I was tail pressing or nose pressing on it, it did hold. It felt a little, or I felt a little bit more resistance on it, but overall, it pretty much felt the same there. Now, when I was sliding it sideways on the steel, it held pretty well right where I landed. If I landed right in between the feet here, that's where it wanted to hold. It didn't spring or buck me off if I was coming from the top ropes or anything like that. It had a nice feel to it where it just cradled that rail and pretty much just stayed exactly where I would land. There is a speed limit on this board, so on those larger and those medium carves, I would say keep that speed limit down just so you're not getting bucked around or losing your edge. When you're on those shorter carves, like when you're approaching a rail or anything like that, it holds extremely well, where you can micro adjust really fast and just get right on your line. When you get to those medium and larger carves, make sure you're on a nice smooth groomer, because if not, it does get bucked around a little bit, especially on those icy spots. It feels like it kind of wants to swivel on you as opposed to really dig that edge in. Now, you can Euro carve on it. Just make sure you're on a nice smooth groomer and you're not going like Mach 10 or anything like that. It might flex and just pretty much completely lose its edge on you. I think this board is made for two different people out there. One that pretty much just lives in the park, hitting rails their whole snowboarding life, and the other one that wants to just get into the park and start being a little bit more curious on that side, where they need a board that's going to be forgiving for them, but they're also going to be able to take it out on that run and still be able to ride it everywhere. Are you looking for another way to support us? If you are, head on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. Sure, I could explain it here, but we have a great video over there getting into it really in depth. It wouldn't be my daily driver, I'd say. It's fun in the park, but when I take it all mountain, it definitely lacks there, where I'm like, I need a little bit more edge hold, want to go a little faster, that sort of thing. If I live back in the Midwest, it would be a great board, but just with the bigger mountains out here, it's not really ideal for that all mountain riding in my eyes. Comparable boards: the Capita Indoor Survival, the Ride Kink, and the K2 Afterblack. Recommended bindings: the Union Ultra, the Salomon District, and the K2 Bond. This has been my review of the Rossignol Jibsaw. If it sounds like the board for you, but you still need to do a little bit more research, make sure you check out one of the videos for the comparable boards.